Welcome back to Wrench Rome Race. My name's Will, and today we are going to be changing the oil on my fiance's 2015 Honda Civic.
Yes.
Civic. Follow along. I'll take you through it step by step as best I can, and we'll see how it goes. Guys, so our first step's going to be get it up in the air high enough that I can work on it. I don't have a rack, so we're going to be using ramps. I'll show you the best way I know how to put them on, and we'll go from there. So here we go. So we want to try our very best to line up this ramp with the outside of the tire barely touching this lip, and making sure that the inside of the tire won't run off either, which is going to be kind of hard to see, but we're pretty close. Probably going to pull the back out just a little. Make sure you check both sides before you have the person pull up, or if you're working alone, you may want to double, triple check your work. That should work for right now. I'm going to guide her up. Stop. And then from there, have the person set, roll your window down. Have the person set the parking brake before they put it out of gear. Have them put it in park, cut the car off, and pop the hood, please. There we go. Next step's coming up. All right, after you get the hood popped, you want to first take a look at everything. Check your fluids, check your air filter, check the condition of your battery terminals, see if they're still loose or if they're tight. Feel free to check your brake fluid level. Check the condition of your belts, how loose they are. You shouldn't be able to get more than about 1 inch of deflection off of a belt normally. So check all of that first. Just if the car is not boiling hot, give your hoses a good squeeze. Make sure there's nothing crazy going on there. And after you've looked it over and everything seems in good condition, nothing really needs to be addressed, try to get your oil cap off. And I know a lot of these people tighten them to a point that you can't get them off. If it's that tight, you can take a wrench and not drop it. You can take a wrench on some of the Honda, Nissan, things like that, and it'll break the seal. From there, take the cap off, check your oil level beforehand to make sure just that you have enough oil in it already and there's not a major issue there. And pop the cap off and we'll get started underneath. All right, we're back underneath it. So this one has a skid plate under it. We're gonna take all the screws off. They're a large Phillips head, if you can see that. Yeah. Should be between 4 and 5. Depending on what vehicle you have. So I'm going to get those off, and I'll come back when the skid plate's down, and we'll go from there. All right. The screws are out, so there you go. Little movie magic. So we're going to come under here and look up there somewhere, if I can find it. Filter. That's going to be the oil filter. We're going to remove it second. Right here. There it is, yeah. The oil drain plug. we're going to be pulling that out. It's a 17, and for the guys who don't have that, the metric conversion to standard should be an 11/16. It won't be perfect, but it'll be close. I'm going to get my pan under here and we'll go from there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. I don't have a 17, so I've got the 11/16. You always want to use the box inside to, I've got that backwards, to take the drain plug off. Because if you use the open inside, you can round out the plug and you will have a bad rest of your day trying to get it out. Some of these are going to be hard to get out. They're not all going to be fun. I will say this. If you're going to do this, make sure you have a good pan to catch the oil. And from there, I've already loosened this one, but for the camera's sake, make sure you're not going to lose it, and you just want to get it out best way you can. And from there, getting that black gold. And you know, if you've got a regular pan, just go ahead and let it drain in it. If you got a pan like this, you can look at it and check the condition of the oil coming out. Look for any metal shavings, because those are bad signs. But this oil looks fine. It's probably a little bit dark just because of how long we've went on the change here, but you know, you get the maintenance when you can. So, got the plug out. The next step's gonna be pulling it out of here, getting a new metal shim on it, and then reinstalling it. So, let me get the new metal shim on there. All right. Let that stop draining. I probably don't need to be in the video as much as I am. Some of the shims are going to be aluminum, some are copper. A lot of guys won't change them, and well, this is kind of awkward. There we go. A lot of guys won't change them, and the shim will start to, come on, crush and deform against the plug, and then they're a real booger to get off. So if you have the opportunity to change it, go ahead and change it, because you never know if the guy before you or the guy after you is going to. Do your best to get that back in there. I'm going to clean my hands off and get this in here. You know what? I'll just put it in. It'll be fine. My hands don't need to be clean yet. And when you're putting it back in, pay attention to see if there's any roughness in the threads or anything on that oil pan. That can be a good sign that you may have a problem coming up on either replacing an oil pan or a drain plug. I've seen guys retap these after one has started stripping out, but I don't know how well those do. Honestly, if it were me, if it started to strip out, it's time for a new drain plug anyway. And if it's time for a new drain plug, it's time for a new pan. But Napa sells a plug that you screw in one time, and it's got a spring-loaded valve in it. And all you do is come under here, press the spring-loaded part up, and switch it over 90 degrees, and it drains the oil out. I had one on the truck a while back, and I've never had an issue out of that. I couldn't have asked for an easier oil change, and they have them for most every make and model. So run into Napa and ask your parts guy. He should be able to set you up with it. They're probably about 20 bucks, but it'll be the last drain plug you need unless something crazy happens. So just a thought. Now I'm gonna move on to the filter. Give me 1 sec to resituate and I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Time to get this oil filter off. There we go. These things don't need to be tight enough to ruin your life. They just need to be tight enough to seal, man. I'd let that drain till it's not a constant stream anymore and just screw it off. Or if you're not worried about getting dirty, just go ahead and screw it off. Let it drop down in there like that. When that stops draining, check up here for the O-ring off the filter, or if you're smart, check on the filter itself. Make sure the O-ring's still on this outside edge, because if it's not, it's up there. And then once we get that to stop draining, we're going to take some used oil and rub it on the new filter on the O-ring itself right here, and make sure that O-ring is lubed up really well. Rub a little bit inside the threads of the oil filter here, and from there, if you're one of the guys that pre-fills their oil filters, man, I applaud you. Some of the oil filters I've had to get to have been in a lot worse places than this, so I'll probably pre-fill this one. But pre-fill the oil filter if you want. If you don't, I don't care. But get everything ready, and then I'll be back when we're ready to put it on. All right, everybody, I'm back with the pre-filled filter. I put about a half quart in here, but as you can see, the outside ring there is well lubed up, and so are the threads. So we're gonna get under here and we're gonna put this thing on. And I didn't get to it last video, I just tightened the plug. Man, this thing's not a 3116 cat. You don't have to be able to hang off the drain plug. You just need to be able to make sure it's not gonna leak. Same thing with this filter, man. I like to spin it backwards about a full turn. Real easy, because you should be able to feel it or hear it audibly. Click over the end of the threads right there, and then just run it up, and I'll back that off a second. Run it up till it touches, and most everybody says between a half and 3/4 of a turn. That's about 3/4 of a turn. It's not rocket science. That drain plug, we don't want to get that thing so tight that you can hang off of it, man. Care about the next person coming back behind you, especially if it's yourself. But drain plug's tight. I'm sure you can look up a torque spec for it. Filter's tight. There's probably a spec for that too. So now we're going to fill it up with oil, and I will come back under here and check everything, make sure I don't have any leaks. And from there, we'll put the we'll put the cover back under it, and we will pull it off the ramps and check the oil level. So there's that, and I'll be back. So we're up top. We've got everything tight below. Hopefully we won't have any leaks. Want to find a funnel. This is the only one I can find currently, but it will work for the purpose I'm using it for. When you go and get the oil, if you're doing this yourself, when you go and get the oil, your owner's manual should tell you most of this. You want to get the correct weight of oil. and there will be a starburst symbol similar to the little black one on the top of this. This one doesn't tell what grade oil, but you want to make sure you get the correct grade of oil. For example, SP graded oil, and then the correct weight of oil. Diesels will be different from summer to winter, but most all of your gasoline cars are going to be consistent throughout the year, one specific weight of oil. Some of them you can actually make exceptions for different weights if the weight that you need is not available. But that being said, make sure you get the right oil to do the job. And your jug is going to be labeled in increments in liters and in quarts. We're going to leave about a half quart in this jug because this is a 5-quart jug. This car takes 4.5 quarts. Make sure you get the right amount of oil, because put too much in, it might not run. Don't put enough in, it won't run long. So. And I will cut back when it is completely filled, and we'll start it up and check to make sure it has no leaks. All right, so I'm back. I've put the oil in. I left about a half quart in the jug. We're gonna put this cap on here if I can ever get it threaded. We want it snug, not tight. And from here, I'm gonna have my fiance start it up, and we're gonna check underneath and make sure there's no leaks. Love, would you go ahead and start it up for me? And down we go. No leaks there. No leaks there. All right. Oh no, what's that? That's AC water. Anyway, we're good there. Good there. No crazy noises. We're gonna pull her down, and well, I'm gonna put the shield back up, and then we're gonna pull it down and check the oil level. That'll work. Be right back. All right, let's see if I can get this thing back up in a manner that you can actually see it. There, maybe. Putting it back up, you want to make sure you got your orientation right. There's these little notches here that stick out. They match slots on the pan. Hang as many of them as you can at one time. And then from there, you want to gently pull it forward. Probably take you a minute to get all of them at once, but once you do, grab a screw, hand start it in there. That one should hold it for just a second. Get the rest of them, put them in. There's one. There's the other. This particular one doesn't have all the screws with it because, well, things happen. But and this one's not going to cooperate with me, I'm sure. That's okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to assume that I did this right and just act like that's there already. I'll do that off camera. Want to tighten them. Again, not ridiculously tight. Just snug. Let's see if it goes in now. Well, how about this? May be quite a bit of work to get it in the way you want it, but if you're willing to put the work in, it might actually go in for you. Aha! Got it. All right. Now I'm gonna have her, well, I'm gonna get out from under it first. I'd hate to have a trip to the hospital for no reason today. I'm gonna get out from under it and she's gonna pull this thing off. We're gonna move the ramps and check the oil level and we'll see how that goes. Okay, so it's down off the ramps. We had to get it running to get it down off the ramp, so the oil's been circulating in it for a little bit, but I'm gonna pull the dipstick out, wipe it off, reinsert it, pull it back out, and from there, you should be, that little checkerboard style pattern right there is called a crosshatch. It should be somewhere in there, and this one is. Above it is okay to a certain extent, but you don't want to be way up the stick. If you're below the crosshatch, you need to add oil. So somewhere in that range is fine. Right at this top section, that would be perfect, which this one is. And reinsert. Double check your cap. And, you know, that's it for this one. That's an oil change. Make sure you fill your sticker out. And I hope you enjoyed this content, guys. Leave me some comments. Let me know how I'm doing. And come back and see me for the next one.